everyone. Again, as we roll into a rainy, wet, stormy Monday for me, I'm excited to bring the topic today with all of you, which is the idea and the principle of, which is a little bit controversial in the world of saying that you want to be different than creating ripples and waves in your life, and you want to be more like the stone that gets cast into the pond. And I'll get into this a little bit deeper. Most job seekers really struggle with the ability to be able to think about themselves and be honest. We are our own worst critics, and we are truly terrible about evaluating ourselves. We will give encouragement to everybody else all day long around us. We will compliment our friends. We will remind everyone else of what their strengths are, and we have the vision to see those strengths crystal clear in those other people. But when it becomes time to look in the mirror, we suddenly become not only the harshest critic, but we also are the first one to avoid the topic at all. And during a job search, that voice gets extremely loud. It is the rejection emails, the silence after interviews, the applications disappearing into the void that we hear about all the time. And then all of a sudden, suddenly as a job seeker, we start to tear ourselves down, and we don't recognize that incredible career that we've had. And then from that, the outside world starts to creep into our minds that we have diminished value. But here's really the truth that I want everyone to kind of sit and resonate with. And before we got started, of course, I gave you guys some parameters of some things to really lean into here. And I want you to think about the fact that your career didn't disappear. Your strengths, your superpowers didn't disappear. Your experiences that you've had, the successes, the failures, the growth didn't disappear. The only difference inside of this moment for you is that your environment changed. And when your environment changes, you have to learn to see yourself clearly again. And we talk about different tools. We'll mention the brag book and how that really matters to you. We overly will communicate with you about reflection and the importance of reflection daily. And then really where that comes down to, tracking those wins matters, because if you can't see the advancement, if you can't see the dominoes being knocked over, then you will live in a world of perception and never perspective. And if you do that, then you'll lose all of the success, not only that you're gaining, but the success and how it will affect you later. So here's where I want you to shift your mind shift, where I want your mind shift to really be, and how it really happens for all of us as job seekers. One, getting a job is sure the ultimate goal. That would be great. As a job seeker, that is the epitome of yes, we've made it. But what we miss is all the steps in between that, all of the moments that we need. Because when you land a job, it's really the waves, it's the ripples that happens when that job is landed. Sure, and everyone feels it. It touches the shoreline. It touches all of the areas in the world, if you want to call it the pond of searching for a job. And you'll hear advice from everyone about how you're supposed to do that, how their way is the best way. But I want to challenge the idea real quick that all that noise and all that focus is where you should have and where you should be. Because if we're just focused on the ripples, then you'll start to realize real quickly that those ripples fade away. The waves disappear. And instead of that, I want you to think about something entirely different. I want you to go back and think about the stone that hits the water. When a stone is thrown in that pond, people around us, the world, will look at the ripples. They'll see them, but the ripples aren't the real story. That real story is that stone. The stone used to exist in another place in time. It was on the shoreline. It could have been chiseled from rock. It could have been abused and thrown and beat up. That stone is on that shore. then something happened to that stone. Either it was moved by the environment or someone physically picked it up and threw that stone and moved it. And when it's thrown into the new environment, does this sound a little bit familiar for you guys? Because that movement is your career transition. You didn't plan to be in this moment, but that's where you are right now. And when the stone was tossed, the stone doesn't panic. The stone actually hits the water and it settles into the bottom of this pond and it adapts to its new ecosystem. The stone actually shifts and becomes a part of that ecosystem. And here's the real important part that I want you guys to understand and see visually. That stone permanently changes that pond. Every fish moves differently and swims around it or uses it. The water flows differently because of it, and plants will either grow on it or around it because of its existence. The ecosystem also adapts to the stone's presence. And that's what impact looks like. Not temporary ripples on the top of the water, but the permanent presence change of an individual who is adapting to their new ecosystem and changing it around them. So if you're really in a difficult season right now, I want you to remember something. You're not a ripple. You're the stone. Your existence not only matters in the environment they're in, but you can influence it. Your skills not only matter to where you are right now in this community and others around you, but your skills will matter to your next team. Your leadership, how you handle things, not just at the presence of being at work, but at home, how you handle things as a leader of your own environment matters. And whatever you land next, that organization's ecosystem will change because of all of the things that you do right now. It's either going to be positively influenced because of these moments or negatively influenced. Everyone's going to land a job at some point. So if you are focusing on this, and your goal should be seek yourself clearly, not through the rejections, not through the silence, not through the fear of what's next, but through the truth of what you've already built, what you're already building. And if you can hold on to that truth long enough, then something extremely powerful happens. You stop chasing the ripples, you shut out the noise, and you start becoming the stone, and you get the work done based on your journey and your path and what strengths that you see for yourself. So as I wrap this and close it like this, we're going to do questions in just a second and have you guys lean into this a little bit. And I gave a bunch of things to the group that's on the call right now so we can have a really deep, rich conversation in a minute. But as we look into the second or third week, of March, there's a lot of great activity happening. And there's huge momentum happening inside of our community. But the most important piece of this is that we all surround each other and we motivate, push, pick each other up when we need to, but we don't forget that we are all stones in this ecosystem, and we all have an opportunity to build something and change the environment for everyone else around us, and we have to do it in that positive direction with that right mindset. Doesn't mean that you're going to have great days every day. Doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect, but what it does mean is you have to choose. You have to choose in that moment to zoom out and have that perspective so that you know you're handling the trajectory of your next step to better the organization, your family, your friends, and everybody else around you. Appreciate you guys as always, and I look forward to this in-depth conversation we're getting ready to have.